there's a tendency for us to get our own history wrong just in the past few years, and to imagine that we are living in a movement created by Barack Obama, that this is Barack Obama's movement, and that he is the most central character, the most central figure, and that everything that we do going forward needs to relate back to Barack Obama. That is not factually, historically accurate. The movement that you created, you were working on and building before you heard Barack Obama's name. Let's be clear about that. The pro-democracy movement in this country did not start a year and a half ago. And it didn't start in 2004 with a great speech. There's a great danger that we will go back and reinterpret history and miss the most important point. How did this movement get started? First of all, we had the whole legacy of struggles from the 30s and the 60s and the 80s all the way up through to build upon. And let's not forget the late 90s either, when we took to the streets against the WTO, many of you in this room. Let's not forget that the struggle for economic justice and economic fairness in this country in the late 90s around the WTO and those struggles around the prison industrial complex. We were developing a pro-democracy sentiment and capacity in this country. Some of it showed up in the Nader campaign, which now people act like nobody in here voted for Nader. No, y'all got it. You should be ashamed of yourself. I don't know who voted for that dude. Wasn't me. But there was a sense that the Democratic Party wasn't standing for the principles anymore. And some of us wanted to create a different alternative. And the fact that we came up 500 votes short in Florida shouldn't erase that history. Because some of the very people who were a part of the Nader alternative in 2000 were on the front lines for Barack Obama in 2008. So there's a process here that we've gone through. And it was in 2001 when we had the horrific attack on our country. And one wing of our political spectrum seized power and imposed upon us 6 years of one-party authoritarian rule. It was when it was hard, when we didn't have a shining light, when we didn't have a great spokesperson, when all we had was each other, and all we had was our little ideals, and all we had were a few little emails. We didn't have 5 million emails back then. I didn't even have email at all, but all we had was each other. And that was enough. And in 2002, we fought to try to prevent a war. 2003, millions of us came out. We didn't have a leader. All we had was each other. And we did everything that we could to stop a war, to stop an invasion that we knew was wrong. And our patriotism was questioned. Our patriotism was questioned. Y'all remember that? Don't act like that was some easy time. Y'all remember those Thanksgiving dinners? Going home with your crazy cousin, trying to explain why this was wrong. Some of y'all gave up on Thanksgiving. Haven't been back yet. Those were tough, difficult days. But we kept alive that little light. And we said, I don't care what the president says. I don't care what Fox News says. And I don't care what the New York Times says. Invading an innocent country is wrong. Torture is wrong. Killing children is wrong. It's not right. It's not our country. And that was a long, hard walk. And we had to drag that flag back. They took that flag and turned that flag into a war flag. And we had to drag it back to make it a peace flag, and we're still dragging it back, and we didn't have a leader. All we had was each other. And then the anti-war movement became the anti-Bush electoral movement, and we did everything that we could. Everything that we could. And we were defeated in 2004. And some people said, I just can't take it anymore, you know. This is too much, you know. I'm going to go to Canada. You know. Like they want you in Canada. You know, like people in Canada say, oh, please come up here. You know, you're doing so well down there. And we didn't have a leader then. Luckily, a young man had given a good speech at the Democratic Convention. And we said maybe in 2078 he could be president. But you weren't waiting for that, were you? No. We went out and we built and we built. We built new organizations, new institutions. We adapted new technologies. And we built a pro-democracy movement in this country that by 2006 had made a fool of Karl Rove, who had said that you remember him? Y'all don't even remember Karl Rove. You're like, who's that? Y'all just too happy. No, let's don't forget your history now. Karl Rove said after Bush won re-election that he had engineered a realignment that was going to stand for 20 to 30 years. 20 to 30 years of Republican domination, but because of you, it didn't last 20 to 30 months. That's the movement you built. You built that movement. You built the pro-democracy movement in this country. And it was on the basis of your effort. It was on the basis of your courage. It was on the basis of your genius that Barack Obama looked out and saw a country that was ready for a new direction. And he courageously, bravely forward to be a vehicle for you, to be a voice for you. But Barack Obama did not create your movement. Your movement created the opportunity for Barack Obama. That's who you are. That's who you are. Understand that. And so now what do? You sling a little snot tomorrow on a stranger? You know? Wipe away some tears. And say, I can't wait to go back and read the blogs to find out what's going on. Oh, the next 4 years, I can't wait to watch Rachel Maddow. Right? Who I love. And see what's going on. Is that what Barack Obama needs? Is that what this country needs? Is that respectful of the movement that you built with your own hands? No. First of all, let's be clear that Barack Obama is on a hero's journey. See, he is now the central figure, the central protagonist on the world stage. He's the only living person whose name will be a household name 100 years from now, 200 years from now, 300 years from now. He's already achieved that. But here's the question. You only get a couple of lines next to your name. I don't care what you did. Lincoln freed the slaves. That's it. That's it. Churchill beat Hitler. That's it. Yeah. Now, what is going to be next to Barack Obama's name? That is in your hands. It can either be Barack Obama, first black guy. Barack Obama, first black guy. Right? Or it can be Barack Obama, world hero. And it's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to us to set the bar high for this brother. Don't do him the favor of trying to go easy on him. Oh, he our president. And we voted for him. And he's so cute. And those little girls are so cute. We can't protest him. We can't say nothing bad about him. It's like having the Huxtables in the White House. How you going? No. We got to set the bar high for this brother. You know? We got to give him a challenge that he can meet and reach so he can be the world historic figure that he needs to be. When Nelson Mandela got out of prison, people said, oh, this is so beautiful, it's so great, it's so wonderful. And they began to say, well, now we can relax the boycott. Now it's all going to work out. And Nelson Mandela had to call a press conference, didn't he? And he came before the eyes of the world and the cameras of the world, and everybody was so happy and celebrating and relaxing and saying, oh, you know, he's free now and it's all going to be all right. Nelson Mandela said, no. Now is the time to intensify the struggle against apartheid. Now is the time to intensify the struggle for freedom. Now is the time to intensify, to quadruple our efforts, because now is the time that our enemies will double theirs. Now is the time to quadruple the struggle in this country for green growth, for green jobs, for democracy, for the people in Detroit who don't have anything. We can put them to work, not making SUVs to destroy the world, but making wind turbines and solar panels that will save the world. Now is the time to intensify the struggle for democracy. Let's do that. Let's do that together. Thank you very much.